Hey gaming fans, so today I'm coming with a Penguin deck profile. This is a deck I like to play around with, and every once in a while. There hasn't really been much support since a few of these ones came out, but I thought, I'll still like to play around with this deck and have some fun with it. Obviously, it's not ultra competitive, and you have to excuse the lack of card sleeves. I got card sleeves everywhere, but I need to really, I've been just building too many decks lately. Anyways, let's get to the deck profile. So, this deck is all about bouncing, and so the first penguin I'm going to show off here is Punny Penguin, which is pretty cool. I mean, it's a weak monster, it doesn't do very much on its own, but when it is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon a penguin from your graveyard in a face-up attack or face-down defense position. And so you're probably going to go for that face-down defense position on a lot of the monsters, but there are a few that you might want to pull out in attack mode. Speaking of the face-down defense, and the main point of this deck is to bounce back to the hand. And so we got Penguin Soldier. This guy's a classic. This guy's been around since the starter deck Joey. Actually, this is a starter deck Joey card. Anyways, yeah, pretty much he bounces two monsters when he flips face up. So you can clear out your opponent's field if they got like two extra deck monsters sitting there. They probably won't have an answer to it. Unless they can effect Veiler. But if they attack during damage steps or something, they're kind of screwed. Going with the bounce, this guy's really cool. And I remember people playing this outside of any kind of like water decks and stuff just to get rid of cards. So when he's flipped face up, or when he's flipped over, I should say, you return one card, not monster, one card to your opponent on your opponent's side of the field to the hand. And then he boosts up water monsters by 200. Tiny little boost, but still, any little bit helps. And one of the better ones that came out recently, a while ago, is Nope Penguin. Nope Penguin. I don't know how you pronounce that. Anyways, so during either player's turn, when an effect of a penguin monster is activated, I could special summon this guy from the graveyard. And then, while he's on the field, whenever a penguin monster bounces on another card, it gets banished instead. So your penguins now are actually banishing cards instead of bouncing to the hand, which is really good. I mean, you just got to keep this guy on the field. That's the hard part. And I threw in, just for the fact that he's penguins, really no other reason, Bolt Penguin. I mean, he doesn't do anything. He's 1100, so he's got an okay attack, but he's level 3, which is working with the other level 3s. Because you want to go into some XYZ summoning in this deck. There's no synchro plays or stuff. You could do link summoning too. I haven't really explored too much for the link monsters, but I used to do XYZ summoning all the time with this deck. This guy's not a penguin, but he works kind of like a penguin in that you could discard one monster from your hand to the graveyard, and then return one card again on the field to owner's hand. So you can get rid of anything you want. It's okay. I mean, Abyss Soldier, he's 1800 body, so you can attack with him, and he just clears out the field. And the last of the monster, which also is a penguin, is Great Emperor Penguin. Now, the problem with this guy is he is a tribute, so chances are you're going to want to pitch him with something like Abyss Soldier and then reborn him. But yeah, so he's pretty much your boss monster in a sense. But what you do with him is you pretty much just tribute him off, and then you special summon from your deck any two penguin. Well, it says up to 2 penguin monsters. So you'd probably pull out the 2 level 3s that you can go into an XYZ play. That's typically what I would do in this deck anyways. So that's it for the penguins. Let's get rid of that. And go into the spells. So this is Degenerate Circuit. This is a continuous spell. Pretty much the controller of this card pays 500 life points during each of their standby phase, which is okay. It's not optional. So it's kind of like a penalty, but monster cards that would be removed from the field to the hand are removed from play instead. So all your bounce effects now become kind of like No Penguins, where you just can bounce. But this will work with Abyss Soldier as well, so that's pretty cool. I threw in 3 Book of Moon because, there's going to be times where we're going to want to reset those penguins, put them back in a face-down defense position, or maybe even just use it defensive, to stop an opponent's play while you set up your penguin plays. Then for Reborn. I didn't put in the traditional Monster Reborn. I probably would. You know, I probably should, I should say. You know, remove a surface for traditional Monster Reborn, but that's okay. Surface works. You target a level 3 or lower fish, sea serpent, or aqua-type monster in your graveyard and special summon it in defense position. So that's why I'd say this probably should be a real Monster Reborn. I probably just didn't have one when I built the deck kicking around, so I just threw in 3 of these instead. But yeah, I mean, you can modify the deck any way you want. Also, salvage. Add 2 water monsters with 1500 or less attack from your graveyard to your hand. So just kind of refill your hand if you need to use Aqua or Abyss Soldier's effect. You can just pull some of those penguins back, or just to reset a you know, one of the penguin soldiers or something like that. And then just to round it off, I just threw in a draw card, Moray of Greed. It pretty much replaces itself and 2 other monsters in your hand with 3 new cards. Shuffles them back into the deck, and you know, just to refresh your hand, just in case you got, you know, too much crap in your hand. And so that's it for the spells and the traps. So I decided to try this card out. It's Heartless Drop Off. So when a face-up card on the field and or graveyard is added to your opponent's hand by an effect, you could look at their hand, also banish the added card and all cards with the same name, if any. So pretty much, if you get some information out of this card, you get to know what's in your opponent's hand, and then if they add something back to their hand through an effect, whether it be their own effect or your penguins, you get to banish that card and any copies of that might be in their hand. So that could be really good. I got some more Reborn effects with Burst Rebirth, which is pay 2,000 life points, target 1 monster in your graveyard, and special summon it in defense position, face down defense position. So you know, it'll get you that any of the penguins that you need to flip back up, even taking Great Emperor Penguin if you really need it on the end of your opponent's turn, and then you could flip them up on your turn and tribute them. So you can do whatever. The same thing with Call of the Haunted. I threw those in there again for your Great Emperor Penguin. You can bring them back, tribute them again, take 2 more penguins from your deck. So yeah, just to get the penguins going. And of course, this wouldn't be complete without 3 Compulse. So this whole deck is pretty much a bounce theme. It's trying to just bounce your opponent's cards as much as possible. Obviously, if you wanted to make this a little more competitive, you'd probably have to put in some spell and trap removal. I didn't include any in this build, but you could. I mean, there was some cards that can bounce the spells and traps, but things like Mystic Mine you might have a problem with. Anyways, yeah, this is my penguin deck. It's always a work in progress. It's a fun deck, not to be taken too seriously, but it probably could raise some havoc on your opponent if they are not prepared for it, or if they need their monsters to stick around on the field. You can give them a real hard time with this deck. Anyways, hope you liked the deck profile. Throw some comments down below. I always welcome suggestions, changes, ideas. It's always open for me. These are just fun decks I play around with. Anyways, hope you subscribe. Talk to you later.